Hey guys, it's Carl again from North Coast Constrictors. I was just did a part 2 on my trip down the rabbit hole. This is part 3, but while I was trying to think of stuff to talk about, because I hit a bit of a brain fart there, I realized I'm actually due to pair up tonight. So while I'm on this video, I'm going to take one of my males out of his tub and I'm going to pair him up with a female now, which you can watch. Now this guy, this ball python, this male, this is Satan's spawn, this guy. He is the most aggressive ball python that I have. In fact, he's the most aggressive ball python out of all my mates that have got ball pythons and breed. And all the snakes that I've seen, this guy is the worst. He, I don't know if he's going to charm me, bite me, tag me when I take him out. Now I'm going to use a snake hook. Normally I don't have to, I just put my hand straight in, take the others out. But this guy, for some reason, he just hates everything. Okay, his name is Striker, and I gave him that name. Yeah, he's a he's a pastel vanilla butter, and I'm gonna get him out of his tank now. Tub, get him out of his tub. I'm gonna use a snake hook, and yeah, let's hope I don't get tagged. Alright, so this is Striker. He's a beautiful snake. I wonder if he might be going into blue, but I'm just not worried about taking one on the fingers, yeah? And I'm going to pair him up now with a snake whose name is Galadriel. Alright, I'm a Lord of the Rings, Vikings, Game of Thrones fan, so you'll see that a lot of the names that I've named my snakes are from characters in all of those movies. I'm going to take out Galadriel for you so I can show you what I'm pairing. Galadriel is a fire bumblebee, and you can see I'm still brand new at this because I can't even remember my genetics. I have to check, I have to look. I mean, this is a beaut. This is a stunning snake, as you can see here. Try and get the full effect, which she really is. She's anyway. This girl is the last snake that I brought into my collection. She's very late into the breeding season. As I say, breeding is well, as most of you know, in South Africa, breeding takes place in the winter. So a lot of guys have actually stopped breeding, but she's still locking up. She's still building. She hasn't ovulated, so I'm still locking, and hopefully I'm gonna get something great from her. And just to show you what this guy, he's still like this. Even though he's been in that tub, he is still, maybe he'll chill out when he finds out that, and I always take one of the males when I've paired them up. He's out of his tub, I take the tag and I put it on the right hand side, and there's a pink tub in the female's tub. Now I know that there's a male in with her. Anyway, this is a very time consuming hobby, especially if you've got this amount of snakes, and this by no means is a big collection. This is a fraction of the size of some of the guys. I mean, the staff running, just breeding rodents, they got staff for their rodents. I've got a whole rodent breeding thing, in a shed outside where I'm producing rats and mice and so on and so forth. Anyway, guys, as I said, part 1 and part 2, this is for the new person like me. And I don't know anything other than what I've watched on YouTube and what I've heard and been taught by my mentor. Okay, there are a couple of things that I've learned myself over the last couple of months about. You can't just pick up the phone every single time. You can't just go onto YouTube every single time, because there's going to be 20 different videos telling you 20 different stories. Okay. One of the things that everybody says, all of the top snake breeders, and I hear this coming out a lot, especially from the successful guys, don't overthink it. And that couldn't be more true. Problem with me is I overthink everything. I am just one of those guys. I overthink everything. And if you're like me and you have put a lot of money into a project like this, you want it to work. And if you're an overthinker and you really need it to work because you put a lot of money into it, it's very stressful not to overthink things, especially if you are a novice like me and you've never bred. This is my first breeding season. Covered in one of my other videos, I've been very lucky. I bought juveniles, sub-adults, and I was lucky enough to get my hands on some proven breeder adults. Not a lot, very expensive to buy a proven breeder adult. Juveniles always more always cheaper. Proven breeders, especially the females. You know, I've realized in the industry that if a snake is for sale and it's a proven breeder female, man, that guy's obviously got a shitload of snakes and he absolutely doesn't need it. But why would you sell a money maker? Why? It doesn't make any sense. If you're, you know, so you literally, if you want to be a success in this industry, you got to breed up your females, high-end females yourself. So you're going to wait 3 years. You buy the juvenile high ends, and if you've got the time and if you've got the patience, you don't want to start making money straight away. You want to put the good 2.5, 3 years into it, then you can get a high-end female for a lot less. But if you want to start making money that season, you want to buy an adult proven breeder. A, they're not going to come by easily, and B, you're going to pay through your asshole for it. That is a fact. Someone does not. It's like selling an ATM machine. Why would you do it? You're going to put it in with a tub. You're going to put a male to it, and a couple of months later, you're going to produce a clutch of eggs that's worth. You're going to make your money back and plus and plus and plus and plus. People just don't sell good, proven, well, not where I'm from. Maybe in America and the UK, I just see on Morph Market, I see the amount of snakes I've got there for sale, but you're talking about countries with a population that, in the ball python industry, that we pale in comparison in South Africa. So in South Africa, to get your hands on a high-end quality proven breeder female is next to impossible. It's literally next to impossible. You have to breed it up, buy it as a juvenile and wait the 3 years, or actually produce it yourself, which will take even longer if you get in, you know, your middle of the range and the male's got really good genes, and then, you know, so there are a couple of guys in South Africa that will import snakes from overseas. The way with the shipping and everything, the way it works, even though the pound is stronger than the dollar in South African rand terms, and it's cheaper to buy a snake in the UK and have it sent over to South Africa than buying the same snake in America and having it sent over to South Africa, just because of the freight. It's twice the distance. It ends up not being worth it, even with the dollar being, you know, weaker than the pound. So the thing is, America has got, if you go into Morph Market and you look at the amounts of morphs and snakes that are available in America, and then you go and look in the UK, and then you look on South Africa, it's actually embarrassing as South Africans. especially given the fact that these snakes are actually from our continent. The fact that we don't actually, it still baffles me to this day. So one of the things that I want to do, I'm a forward-thinking person, and I want to be in a position where I am breeding similar. I know this is dreaming big for someone that hasn't even been doing it for a year, but if I put in the time and the effort and hopefully the money when I make it, and I think, with my head, and I invest wisely, the same snakes that some of the top guys are breeding in America, okay, and hang on a second, I'm giving away my marketing secrets here. I'm not going to do that. But I want to be producing snakes in South Africa that they are not producing here, that they are producing in America. And I've got a couple of genes in my ticker here, thinking about it, and I've got an idea where I want to go with this. What did I want to say? There've been fleeting moments in the last couple of months where it's crossed my mind to stop. Okay, this is not a bed of roses. Okay, after a long day at work, putting in the hours, and then coming home and then having to clean, and it's like little things can piss you right off, especially in these juvenile wrecks here, and you've got paper. I've got wood chip now. I've changed over to wood chip. I was paper, I was cocoa husk. I was getting too many gnats and shit like that. So I've just changed back over to wood chip, but I had paper on there, unprinted newspaper, cut out nicely for the size. You open the tub, there's a dump inside the tub, there's pee inside the tub, whatever. You open up, you put a new piece of paper down, fresh water, you go through all the tubs, blow me down, you don't turn around, and that same snake is tipped over the whole water bowl. It's all wet again. And that happens once. Big joke. The fucking snake just tipped over the water bowl and just changed it out. Do it for this 200th time, and you're like, fuck this snake. Okay? Especially if it's a snake that does it all the time. And I promise you, you do get those snakes. They're just like, fresh water, thanks, we'll just tip it out. Okay? It happens, and you get pissed off. Then your snakes lock up. Like for me, this is where things started going a little bit pear-shaped for me. Fortunately, and I'll tell you why things changed for me. I spent a shitload of money, some really good, decent breeding females. They're all proven breeders except for 2, but they were breeding size. I bought really good males, all proven breeders. Every single male was a proven breeder. They're all locked up. All the females locked up. And they were locking up like within 2 hours. And I was like, man, this is easy. This is great. I'm going to be wanting it. I'm thinking, shit, 4 months time, I'm going to get ovulations and blah. 8 months later, 7 months later, I still hadn't had an ovulation. I was fuming. What I didn't understand was how finicky these snakes can be. You take it from one environment where it's been smashing food, it's been with that breeder, they've bred it, it's gone through their system, it knows its tub, it knows its food, it knows its breeder. These snakes, they're pretty intelligent. And now you've taken it, you've put it in a whole new environment now. Stopped eating. Some of them didn't chow. They were locking up, but they weren't eating. Some were just smashing straight off the bat. So I'm not saying that they were all bad or whatever. What I'm saying is that I didn't get too despondent. They were all locking up. Some of them weren't eating, but I didn't think they were all well over. They were all sitting in like 1,700 grams and above. And one of my females was sitting at 2.5 kgs, 2,500 grams. She's my big girl there. There's 2 females there that if they give me the eggs with the male that I've locked them up with, if they produce those 2 healthy clutches, I'll make my entire investment back and some this year. But it wasn't 2 months ago that I thought, I'm not going to make a cent. I didn't have one ovulation, my girls weren't growing, they weren't losing size or anything like that, but I just thought, okay, well, none of them are going to have eggs. That's it, you know. Part 4 coming up.